Ever heard of Triple R, Ricky Ray Rector? I'm going to tell you all about him. By the way, Triple R is a name that I gave him, okay? It is not what they call him. You're not going to hear that in the media. You're not going to read his name that way. That is just what I gave him. So just throw that out there because it sounds cool. You can't lie. Sounds pretty cool. Ricky was born on January 12th, 1950. From an early age, he already had problems. He already had some problems. He was constantly getting into fights with his peers from a very young age. By the age of 17, he had already had a record with a plethora of charges, okay? Disorderly conduct, assault and battery, grand larceny, and forgery. But that was nothing compared to what he was lining up next. As you can see, I love talking about these red flags, and these red flags are already showing because he's a troubled teen. He's a very troubled teen, and it shows. So Ricky and some friends went out looking to have, a good time. The day was March 21st, 1981, and they were denied entry into a club because they were unable to pay the $3 entry fee. Now, if you can't pay a $3 entry fee, I don't think you should be going out. But that's just my opinion. For some reason, unlike normal people, this ignited Ricky so much that he pulled out a .38 caliber pistol and shot 3 people. 2 people survived and 1 died after being struck in the throat and the head. Ricky fled the scene in a friend's car and hid for 3 days, either in the woods or at a family member's house. He was convinced to turn himself in by his sister on the 3rd day. But here's the thing. Before he surrendered, he would only do so to Officer Robert Martin, someone he got to know very well through his troubled past. So his wish was granted. Officer Martin arrived at Ricky's mother's house shortly after 3 p.m., and he chatted with the mom and his sister. Shortly after, Ricky arrives to the home. He came in, he greeted everybody, said hi to the officer, said hi to his mom and his sister. As the officer turns away to continue his conversation, Ricky pulls out a gun and shoots the officer in the jaw and the neck, killing him immediately. He then leaves the home. He walks out onto the lawn, turns the gun onto himself, and fires, shooting himself in the temple. But here's the crazy shit. He survives the suicide attempt. Okay? He survives, which is crazy. Crazy. You tried to kill yourself and it fails. You can't even do that right. So with all that being said, we have a dead cop and we have a failed suicide attempt. So here you go. He damaged his frontal lobe and had successful surgery. He was immediately charged for the death of Criswell, the person he killed at the club, and now Officer Martin. His defense team argued that Ricky was intellectually impaired and not competent to stand trial, which we hear that all the time. We see that all the time where they try to use this defense that this person is fucking crazy. He ain't crazy. He's not crazy. He's just a killer, okay? Stop trying to give these people the bailout by saying that they're crazy and they have these mental issues, because they don't. Because we saw this with the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting in my last video. If you didn't see that, make sure you check that video out. It's pretty good. So, of course, they had to do the whole mumble jumble of evaluating him and all that shit. But in the end, the judge ruled that he was perfectly fine to stand trial. And he was charged for the deaths. And guess what? His ass was put on death row. So your ass is gonna die either way. You wanted that the last time and you couldn't do that, but your ass is gonna get it this time and your ass is gonna die. Of course, he got offered his last meal because those people that are put on death row, they get a final meal. So his last meal, homeboy went all out. He ordered steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. The interesting thing to note here is he didn't eat the pie, telling the guards he was saving it for later, which was very weird because how the fuck are you going to eat it later when you're going to die? That was pretty interesting. But Ricky was executed by lethal injection, and it took medical staff more than 50 minutes to find a suitable vein to perform the execution, and the curtain remained closed the entire time. But reports stated that they can hear him whimpering because he's a ass. But yeah, if you're gonna kill people, if you're gonna shoot people, and then, you know, cry. Well, I think he was crying. I say he was whimpering, but that's crying to me. He was crying because he's about to die and they were trying to find a vein for him, probably sticking him 100 times, but doesn't matter. You killed 2 people and you think you're going to get off the hook. In the end, he got what he deserved because like the Joker said, you get what you fucking deserve. But that is going to do it. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and I will catch all of you guys in the next video. Peace.